Alright, so we have a Soulbeast game. Apparently this player says that their mouse cursor wasn't being captured, so we won't get to see any of that, but I don't think that'll have to be a big deal. Yeah, we can see how they go. It looks like they're going to be playing a very bursty version of Soulbeast. Hopefully they'll pop more of the build panel in a second, but I see a Great Sword, I see a Sikkim, I see Quickening Zephyr, I see a bit of stab for the Dolyak stance. I think this is really difficult as a decision between that and Lightning Reflexes. But for sure, it's a very valuable cooldown. I see Rampage as one. Was this pre-patch? This feels very pre-patch to me. Let's see, though. So they're running Second Skin because they anticipate a little bit of Condi pressure. Agility and Separation on the bow. They're on Leadership and Demo. I just really want them to mouse over this to see whether it's pre-patch or not. Anyway, so yeah, I think the build is fine. I think everything's pretty much set up there, and we're all right. Default volume settings. All right, let me... first bit of advice. That doesn't mean anything. Hardly any... What is that doing for you? What I would do, if you actually want advice on this, mute music, mute environment. These mean nothing for the actual game. Dialogue you can choose to keep on if you like. Player chatter you can choose to keep on if you like as well. It can help you with some audio tells. Like hearing when a shake it off has happened so that you know to Condi bomb afterwards or whatever, and a few other things. Yeah, Sikkim actually, if you're opposing a Sikkim, it's pretty good. But the other stuff I'd pretty much remove, to be honest with you, and just have this isolated. A tiny click up on effects probably doesn't mean very much. Just my opinion on that one. Anyway, yeah, Owl and Smoke Scale, I like the build. I like the build a lot. I haven't played this for a while, but and I don't think I've ever given you guys footage of me actually being decent on this build. I lose my muscle memory for this build very, very, very quickly, but yeah, I think it's a very fun one, and yeah, we'll see how it all goes through. So you're calling for your warrior to go close, which I think is a good call. I think that you want to be at mid for open lines of sight. I think you've got a Firebrand Scourge. I think you want your Thief to plus the warrior back home if he's pushed. And, yeah, having the warrior at home, that's, like, the only way to play this. I think, yeah, it's a really good idea. Oh, and he's from Spud as well. Nice. Well, I just had a weird moment where I was wondering, is that me on warrior? No, okay, so that guy's going to go. And I would take the upper ground here. Probably linger on the right-hand side of the pot. You're staying low. You've pinged this as well. That's really nice. And you're going to F2. Hopefully people actually do something. You take the GS3 in it, that's fine. No worldly impact, I think that's also fine. Again, I would come up the ramp now, to be honest with you. You're looking for your target. Your team's called on the Necromancer all the way over here. I think I would take free pressure on the DH for now. You've gone big burst already. I wouldn't have done this. I would have saved the burst for the Necro. And like I said, I would have been on the ledge and hitting this already. I still think that you might be okay with this team fight, though. In the middle of the burst, you retargeted. This is scaring me right now. It's like spirit weapons. I'm guessing there's going to be like some freaking Condi or something. I try and kite away from that as much as possible. Nice precast on the worldly impact. I wouldn't have thought to do that. I would wait because of the trail of sand before you use takedown. That was a really nice GS2. Your warrior's being very passive, and I'm not sure exactly why. You get a good kill here. I would have... no, I think... no, I wouldn't have come here. I would have kept moving along. I don't like the idea of being in front of respawns in a second. You want to re-establish towards your line. But also, I would weapon swap point-blank shot pretty soon here, whatever's trying to res that. Staying for the extra GS2 is pretty nice as well. Sadly, you never got a crit. If it was pre-patch, you could have merged in the middle of that second strike for the unblockable. But that's fine. Your warrior is defending close perfectly. He saw the decap. This is really nice. Your team's doing very well. And this plus is brilliant from you as well, because you get to plus this with like max efficiency. You didn't blow Sikkim early, which I think is really nice. Oh, you demerged though. I would have held the merge just for a second. Because look, this guy has to kite out, right? If he tries to kite near you, you sick him, reveal him, guaranteed kill. If he goes this way, you've obviously got more obstruct and stuff, but there's no reason to demerge just yet. I mean, Sikkim will work without you being merged, obviously, right? You still get the reveal and stuff, so it's not huge, but obviously the modifier would have been kind of nice. Here, there was no kill, and I feel like there could have been a kill. So your team kind of got bodied while you turned around, but I actually think your play and your instinct to plus that, that's exactly what I would have done, and I don't think there was anything wrong with that whatsoever. Here, I would have stayed up around the side so that you can pressure this. This is going to be really annoying with line of sight now in a second. Or the guy's going to stand still, remantering, which is kind of funny. I guess he did that because he was scared of your warrior, but the warrior couldn't have hit him, so, yeah. And that was good. You got the kill. You bled. I really like that. I would have swung my camera to the right just now just to see what that is, because I anticipate that to hit you when it comes through. But the pressure in mid is absolutely right, and I would do that. I would swap to Owl here, merge, and... Oh, he's already down. Well, still, I saw the guy was low. I would probably stab res this now. I know you want the Scourge. You're on it a little bit later. I think you get the kill anyway. I would merge heal as soon as this guy comes up because you get a double heal on both your allies here and the Condi pressure. You've healed on your own selfishly. This guy's down. I think that this is lost now, and I would kite towards far. Do you remember the guy that I said was going to engage? He just dropped 5 burn on you. And you had no, like, realization where that was here. Your resist got insta-corrupted as well. I think you're dead. Yeah, the GS4, and I would swoop. I would actually come around this way for 2 reasons. 1, I can tag the body for a rally. 2, the warrior might be able to help me. The warrior's obviously got his own job to do. You stealth out. That's kind of nice. You got Dragon Hunter tethered. Your play was better than mine there. I wouldn't have thought of the stealth. I wouldn't have thought of using that. That's one of my weaker points on this build. So I actually like your play. It was better. It got countered by the Dragon Hunter pool, but still. I like your kite here as well. I think that you're in big danger. I would not push for far right now. I don't think you can take far. I think you need to get back to your allies somehow. So coming over here so that he goes over and then fainting and just turning around for a quick bit of mind games would have been really nice. You are going to push for it. We'll see how you do. Is he scared of you? No, he's just being slow. He might JI onto you, so I'd be scared of this. He got the tether. We'll see if you win this 1v1. I'm not confident in this 1v1, though. His confidence would ruin my confidence. Can I just put it that way? Like, he knows he wants to push for this. You've been plussed as well now. Yeah, because I hadn't thought of this, admittedly. But one area that both you and I could improve is definitely... Remember, the Mirage was down. We had that information. If we were a little bit smarter, we would have known that he was on respawn and he was coming. That was another reason to not push far. I didn't think of it here on the commentary. You clearly didn't think of it in-game. But if I died here, I would have A, been kicking myself for pushing far, and B, kicking myself for not having thought of the Mirage. They tried to bleed you, and you used your pet res. I think that's perfectly realistic. You denied him the full cap as well. Really nice timing on the F2, on the skill 2, sorry. He says like why, but that was a good play. That was perfectly fine. You denied him a couple of points. And also, you bought your time a little bit more, your team a little bit more time to maybe clean that up before the burst power comes in. This is really bad now because of your team's over Zerg. Your Thief's not going to be able to hold Bell for very long. So, where would I go on respawn? I would cut through mid to neutralize and then Bell. That's what I would do on respawn. And I would do it fast. So, yeah, Owl swoop, regular swoop. Okay, so since they are full capping for some ungodly reason, he's not going to full cap that, is he? Okay, sorry, I made a complete mistake here. I thought that they already owned the node. I'm amazed that this guy's full capping anyway, because there never would have been a play for a decap. I wouldn't take this fight. I know that you're like favored on this or whatever. You can like just outrange him. I still wouldn't take this fight. I'm amazed he's letting you pressure him. Okay, I think there's lag going on. Yeah, like, he wants to be at Bell. I wouldn't go for the node here. I'd go to Bell. Bell is way more important. Your team's... The Thief that tried to kite didn't... Realistically, your Thief wanted to go on that dodge roll, leave, and decap. That would have been God-tier Thief gameplay. Or, you know, what you would expect from your Thief. Instead, he died there. So, that's big punish for you. These guys coming in, I had no sense of their respawns. But I wouldn't have been here in the... Oh, you took a target on the swoop. That's really unfortunate. So my advice to you here is to bind... there's a hotkey called lock auto target. And what that means is when you hold a button down, it holds your target. And when you release a button, it let goes of the target. Which realistically means you can tap a button to detarget, okay? So I would bind that, and I would get used to pressing that before your abilities. These abilities here. That's a good little swap, though. I would... so you taking the super speed? I would have done that, too. You didn't really have time to use the Owl heal/resist combo. Again, I want you at Bell. I think that your ally running in here is awful. Where's his DPS? He hasn't got enough. Your position... I wouldn't be Wing right now. You could have killed this guy. You didn't need to be any closer. The smoke assault might save you. You took a smoke assault on the guy closer. Yeah, I think that this was too dangerous, and I would have stayed back so that I wasn't extra pressured, especially with the Condi Thief there. You've used the 2 already, and I would be holding it for when the thief pops out of stealth. And you got stomped. I think actually the timing was very, very good for your enemy thief there, that you probably wouldn't have been able to get the downstate too. But I think you could have been alive there. I think that's your biggest mistake so far. Just going a little bit too deep on that fight. I would have abused my range a little bit more. Your auto attacks hit really hard, by the way, on this build. So you can, especially if you're at very, very long range. I would actually rotate to close right now because I think your thief is about to decap it. And I would sick him, kill him. We'll see. Oh no, so the thief just popped up on the map here. He's tunnel visioning kills. This thief isn't playing very good. I think that was a very good decap from him. A possibility. And they've all just zerged away. I would greatsword swoop this, so I guaranteed get the neutralize. Oh no, this isn't very good. You really want this neutralize. I wouldn't have even taken that res yet. I would have taken it later. You're more aggressively minded than me. I like the parry. That was really nice. That was very good. You knew that you could proc the parry into that worldly impact. So, okay, so you turn the fight around by thinking aggressively. They're still ticking on that node, though. If this comes down to a very close game, I think a minor bit of node efficiency there might have cost you it. There, I wouldn't have engaged on that guy. I would have just stood there and let him walk past. He's got no easy way of getting up to you, and then I would have swooped over and decapped him and taken the fight there. But maybe I'd be wrong, too. I actually think that this is hairy enough in mid that they really need you here. Shame about the worldly impact. A little bit of clunk. Shame you don't have this cooldown for a quick stomp. So I don't actually think there's an opportunity. I think you need to disengage. I wouldn't have tried to cleave that body. Since I didn't have this, I would have left. You took a stealth, but again into a DH tether. I wouldn't have done that, but just because I don't think about stealth enough. If I was a player that thought about stealth enough, maybe I would have noticed I was DH tethered already. I don't know 100%. Anyway, so yeah, I think that you could have disengaged there. I think that was your next big mistake of the game. Anyway, so Bell's coming back on respawn here. I would look at the thief at the minimap right now. You did have visit. He's here, but you're getting decapped. Okay, so this is tricky. Where would I go? I would probably... I don't know what this is. I don't know how comfortable you are with 1v1s. I would probably go through mid. If this was me, just because I'm not familiar with the build, and then I would swing up to Bell. But going here to hold this neutral with pressure and scare the guy off, and then Bell afterwards, you're not looking for a full cap. That's also legitimate. Let's see which one you choose to go for. All right, you go for the team fight. I think that's perfectly fine. And probably a little bit more in keeping with your role here. I would pressure that body. I wouldn't have taken a new target here. Barrage over the body with Rampage is nice. Okay, it's stomped out. I probably would have res with your team. Let's see. They're going to try and res that, right? I probably wouldn't aggress the Scourge here. Where is he? He's right up the ledge. Yeah, and your Necro's going over to try and deal with it. Maybe he gets the res without your help, but I think that might have been a bit safer. This is good, though. I think this is all fine. I'd swing for a respawn. I'm scared of the Mirage right now. I haven't seen him for a while. Late to Bell, but your entire team is late to Bell, so I don't actually think this is a misplay from you. I don't know what you would do alone there, necessarily. Against that Spellbreaker as well, right? Like, you could kite a tiny bit. But, yeah, I think since your team was slow with that, you're kind of forced to be slow with that. I think I agree with your play to come back here. Actually, somewhat, I kind of want you to clean up mid more before you leave for it. And I wonder whether you get... Look, you are getting punished. The Scourge is down. Yeah, the Scourge's position's really bad. He should have been with the Firebrand, so that's kind of not your fault. The Thief as well was very slow with this. Doesn't get any value out of that. So what I would seek to do now is get back to mid and win some fights. And I would think carefully about my Scourge on his respawn. Your team wipe, I think you've just lost the game with your team wipe in here. I think the enemy team has too much of a snowball here. You definitely can't do anything at mid now that they've wiped, and going far is the right play. I would smoke scale here. I would dip out F2 and use swoop just so that it's not so telegraphed that I'm pushing across the whole map. It's a little bit slower, obviously. You could have owl swooped here as well. If the Spellbreaker gets on you now before you can be on the node. Oh, it's not even the Spellbreaker, it's the Mirage. That's interesting. And he did. I wonder whether the sweep probably wouldn't have helped you there. But in general, I think the sweep, denying yourself that next sweep was kind of nasty. I would stealth here. Yeah, you are. And I would just delay for a second. I'd probably come on the box and just kill him with longbow, to be honest with you. That's a good point blank shot. I like that a lot. I get my elite up because a lot of his value for his burst now is going to be based on getting stun and daze. and now he can't. I would be aggressive during my elite right now because you want to take advantage of that stab. You don't want to be kiting while the stab is up against his build. You want to pressure while the stab's there and then kite when the stab leaves. See, now you're getting stunned and stuff. This would be when you'd go up on the crates. You would have taken that damage a little bit earlier. I think your disengage here is a bad idea. I think you keep pressuring. I think you kill him. You just put him into a win condition there with his split surge and stuff and his extra damage on his greatsword autos. Since you pushed for this and got this neutralized, your win condition is your team winning mid, and they don't seem to. Yeah, it was a really unfortunate jaunt with him jaunting behind you to deny your rapid fire. That's a real shame. Since your team isn't scoring any kills, and with that down, it might be time to leave and go force something. You could get plussed if they have scored one. I don't think they did, though. I would sick him and then worldly impact here. You'll stay, and I would demerge. I would have sick him, demerged, and then the smoke scale would be trailing on him right now. Here, you could have moved over to the wall and worldly impact through it. You can GS2 and kill him right now through the wall as well. Oh, you do try it, but he's got an F3 up on you. That's a shame. That's also a bit of a shit. This is kind of clunky now. You had this win, but your team hasn't done very well. Like I said a minute ago, I think you lost the game with this mid-fight. I think you're 1v1 on a neutral node. I think you were actually fine here. Hopefully you would have won that 1v1. I think you would have been fine. But, and I don't disagree with your play here. There was nothing else for you to do. You just had to hope that your team won a 4v4. And realistically, they should have won that 4v4. They were against like a Condi Thief and stuff, but I think your team's position. So this is definitely a game where you struggled because of your team. But you did put a lot of extra pressure. There were 2 deaths there that I don't think were necessary deaths, and you could have like taken advantage of your range a little bit more. So that would have been my main advice to you here, specifically with this build. And this was just one of those games where I think actually everyone played to a decent enough standard that some minor victories mean massive point differences. I don't actually think that this was as mismatched of a game as the ultimate point score makes it look. And I don't think you made too many super killer mistakes. I think you actually played pretty in line with how I think playing the build should have worked out. But hopefully I've offered some nice little bits of advice there. This was a really fun game to watch, even with regard to everything else. But just the fact like you got top damage here, I do blame your team a little bit more than I blame you on this one. But there were definitely some things that could have been improved. Eliminating this guy from the mid fight as well in your 1v1 is fine, right? If you're going to 1v1 anyone on their team, I'd rather you 1v1 this. So, yeah, I don't think there was a throw, you come in fire at the end or anything like that. Even though, if you remember, my instinct as you were coming was that I wanted you to be sort of some line back for your Scourge because he clearly wasn't getting any others. No plus from your Thief and stuff. Yeah, I think this was a hard win for you. I do think it was winnable, but it would have been very hard, and it would have been very reliant on perfect plays, getting a snowball and holding it. As it was, there weren't perfect plays. They got the snowball, and you were too outmatched at that point. That's my interpretation of the game. It was a fun one, though. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'd love to hear, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.